Hello, welcome back. Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Montana time, that's where we're from. I'm Don Jessop, I'm the breakthrough guy. This is my beautiful wife, Rachel. She's here with me each Tuesday.
Hi.
And we are going to spend a little bit of time talking about leadership, as we do. It's been a topic of ours for so long, and as horse trainers and animal trainers and human trainers, we've been talking about leadership for a long time. So we had a really good following last week. Thank you for coming. And we have some more leadership stuff we want to share with you tonight. We're going to talk specifically about a few of the principles, one specific principle about leadership, and review a little bit of last week. Last week we talked about the boundaries, the bonding, the bravery, and then we're beginning the training process. So, hi Renee, thanks, welcome, thanks for coming on board with us. So we're going to review those things. We're going to talk a little bit more about the voice of power, which is a leadership sort of breakthrough program, if you want to call it, unbelievable program we've created for people. And we're also going to give away something. We gave away last week the same thing. We're going to give away a voice of power. The voice of power, I can explain to you a little bit more what it is. In fact, Rachel had a question for me. Go ahead with the question. That'll help kind of sort of explain it.
Well,
Patty, welcome. Hi.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. I wanted to ask Don, why did you come up with voice of power? What made you think of the idea?
Well, thank you. Thank you, my lovely wife, Rachel. Hi, Aggie. Welcome. Thanks again for coming. I came up with the voice of power because I'm a diehard Tony Robbins fan. I love Tony Robbins. I love T. Harv Eker. I love Zig Ziglar. I love all these emotional trainers, right? They're strategists. They're really fantastic about getting people to help make breakthroughs. So I was listening to a Tony Robbins audio. I can't remember the one. I think it was something about mastering influence. And he's going on and on and on. And suddenly I hear him call my name. I literally hear him call my name. And he says, Don, you have to believe in yourself. Now this is an audio tape. There's no way he recorded my name on this audio tape. So obviously I was hallucinating. But it snapped something in my mind. Now, I've been a life coach for a long time now, helping people break through challenges. And I realized one of the problems with life coaching is that it's not personal enough. These audio programs, as inspirational as they aren't personal enough to really help people get through their challenges. People either need strategy or they need inspiration. And when we're looking for inspiration, one of the most effective ways to get through is to have that inspiration be authentic, powerful, and personal. So, thank you, Patty. Patty, thank you very much for sharing the video. So, I wanted to do something special. I wanted to create a life coaching program that would blow away all life coaching programs, and that was called the Voice of Power. So what was the other? Oh, the other question I had was actually for Rachel. We started this, nearly about 5 years ago, rudimentary version of this. And then about a year ago, we started to really tune it in, really fine-tune it. And I just started with Rachel. Rachel did her first Voice of Power with me, and I wanted to ask her your experience there.
Well, when Don first came up with the idea, I thought, okay, well, that's cool. That's for people who kind of need it, and it's kind of, what a great idea, and good job, honey. And then he sat me down, because when you go into Voice of Power, first of all, you have to fill out a form. So you have to write down, your dreams and goals, your desires, your age, whether you want a female or a male voice, and there's all these questions that you go through and fill out. So I filled out his first form, and we were sitting down on the couch, and I said, okay, well, I'm not quite sure how this is even going to work. And so Don just said, well, give me your form. So I handed him my little piece of paper, and he just sat there and just started talking. He just started talking about each little thing. He just made up a little thing just right there, just sitting next to me. And I was silent, which, if you know me well, that means it means something when I'm not talking. So I was completely silent and thinking, oh my gosh, I had tears in my eyes, and it was just like, wow, it just struck a chord in me that you just need those special words spoken into your life, the things that you need to hear, that only you know that you need to hear them. And Don was able to do that with this program, and since then I just knew that it was amazing.
So thank you. So that's imagine having somebody come into your life and motivate you on a personal level. That's what Voice of Power is. It blows away any kind of life coaching program that has ever been done, ever. I dare you to look it up. In fact, I'm going to invite you to try it. At the end of this little session we're doing this evening, we're going to give away a free trial to the Voice of Power program.
Right.
It's a week, and what we do is we're going to record one Voice of Power audio inspiration. And what I mean by record is we produce these things. This is like a movie, an audio, and it's an audio experience, but it's like watching a movie made for you. We will use music, we'll use the right voice, we'll use the right talents, we'll use the right scripts. We're gonna create a motivational speech for you that you can carry with you at the push of a button in your pocket. You can learn everything you need to know about yourself and buy into a better future for yourself. So that's what the Voice of Power program is. We're going to give that away at the end of this. But before we get there, we are going to spend just a little bit of time on review from last week. We're talking about leadership now, and we talked about four B's. The four B's. Oh, let me do a little thing on my settings here, and I get my mirror image up. Now look at that. We're reversed. Let's see. Go back. I don't want to do that. Okay.
I think you can push that. Yeah.
There we are. Look at that. Okay.
Da.
So, the four B's. Hang in with me here. You see if you can see this. We talked about boundaries as the first B in all leadership training. All leadership training, let me reiterate. All leaders, all of the best leaders in the world use boundaries. What that means is you have very clear do's and don'ts in your relationship. And a lot of my followers, Rachel's followers, you're horse people, you're trainers. So you know the value of this. You've got to have really clear boundaries. We spent a lot of time last week covering that. And then we went into bonding. All really good leaders also bond. They bond with their followers. They bond with their horses. If you're a horse trainer, if you're a dog person, you got to have a bond with your dog. But that's got to come second, because you have to set the stage for learning first. Really good friends, by the way, don't ever make really good business partners, because there's one person has to be a leader, and friends aren't good at being leaders. The stage has to be set first. Boundaries, bonding, and then confidence training, or what we call bravery. So that's the third B, bravery. Bravery is about engaging with your follower in a way that builds their confidence and tests their confidence. If you're a horse trainer, that means you're going to subject them to stimulus that might bother them. The fourth B is where we finally begin training, or sometimes I call it basic training. What that means is now you're ready. Any good leader, whether you're Tony Robbins or Oprah Winfrey or Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or anybody, any good leader who's ever done anything, starts with these four B's. They start with boundaries, set the stage, they build rapport, they build confidence, and then finally they can engage in real learning strategies. And one of the things that came up from last week was a question, specifically related to boundaries. And we had a couple of questions last week. If you think of one that came up, and by the way, I want to invite you right now, if you've got horse questions, training questions, leadership questions, bring them up here while we're together. You and I, we can have a conversation right now. One of the questions that came up was related to riding horses. They said, okay, I like your model here. You've got boundaries and bonding and bravery. How does it relate to riding a horse? Do boundaries still come into play when riding a horse? The answer is absolutely. And here's how. Let's say you're on top of your horse. This is you on top of your horse. Okay? See that square? That's you on top of your horse. If you're walking and your horse feels like he's walking too fast, he is going through the forward boundary. There are 4 boundaries, side to side, forward and backwards. If you're walking faster than you want, your horse has not got clear boundaries. The do's and don'ts aren't clear. So do you have permission to actually stop your horse? Yes, you do. You have to reset the boundaries. All leadership is following these 4 B's. You're constantly resetting boundaries, constantly resetting the bond, constantly resetting the confidence, so that the follower will follow you anywhere, will do anything that you want. So when you're riding, these are the boundaries that you're looking at. When does my horse cross over? When does my horse go to the side that I didn't ask for? When does my horse go backwards that I didn't ask for? When did my horse go forward faster than I wanted that I didn't ask for? Can you reset it? Yes, instantly. That's what I would do. That's what Rachel would do. That's how we become very, very effective as leaders in the horse industry. Now, of course, we're also leaders in life coaching as well. We do a lot of life coaching and training, and we follow the same model. We have to set the stage. We have to build rapport. We have to become friendly. We have to build confidence, those types of things. So thank you guys for following. Jennifer, thank you for joining. I want to invite some questions. If you have them, you don't have to. But the last little thing I want to leave you with before we go and before we give you the giveaway is a leadership principle we call leadership principle number 1. And that is that the leader serves. The leader serves. I want to say that one more time. The leader serves. So if you're following me now, it's because you're interested in us and what we do and the leadership stuff that we've been covering here. I just have a quick question here from Jennifer. Been using reins and legs for the side, but considered forward and backwards boundary lines. Awesome, Jennifer, you're right. Use those boundaries for forward and backwards as well. And that's speed control. So, the leader serves. What does that mean? Well, we have a lot of leadership models we can follow. I'll run through them really quickly. We have the master-slave leadership model. What does that mean? That means you're a horrible leader if you follow a master-slave model. And unfortunately, a lot of leaders follow this model. They really push their followers to do things in a really horrible way. No bond in place, just training, boundaries, no trust, no real rapport. We want to avoid this. We want to avoid being masters of our horses, of our followers, of our dogs, of whatever kind of relationship that we have where we are the leader. We want to avoid being this master slave or master servant, which is slightly better than master slave, but just slightly. You don't want a servant. You want, as we go through the models, I'll show exactly what you want. So we have master slave, we want to avoid that. Master servant, we want to avoid that. We have another leadership model we often see. It's called boss employee model. We need this model in a lot of circumstances in life, but we don't necessarily want to use this model for most leadership, especially with animals, kids. There's better leadership models, and one of those is what we call the teacher-student model. So when we're talking about the leader serving, we're talking about a leader who understands the needs of the follower and delivers them. And the teacher does a really good job of that. Think about a kindergarten teacher leading a class. They set up the boundaries, the kids sit down, they bond, they build rapport, they become very likable, and they start to serve the students. So the teacher-student model is extremely effective in training and in leadership. Now we have the coach-athlete model, which is very effective if you're a horse person. You have a very clear goals for your athlete, and you want them to grow and to progress and to become smarter and more athletic and more powerful, at the same time being very relaxed. So what I want you to consider is principle number 1. The leader serves. The leader is not the master. The follower is not the slave. And you are very effective when you follow these 4 B's as you progress. And so as we go through every Tuesday, we're going to introduce a few more of these principles. We're going to talk a lot more in detail about lots of different topics on leadership. But real quick here soon, we're going to be giving away a Voice of Power trial.
Kay had a question.
Kay had a question.
Would the backward boundary line be not walking fast enough?
Oh, good question. If you're walking on your horse and you're on your horse walking, to be clear, and he's really slow, sluggish, he's not walking fast enough. Well, essentially, yes, he's not responding well to that backward boundary. He's behind the line. It would be like a horse pulling on the rope if you're on the ground and he's out at the end of the rope pulling. He's behind that perfect balance. He's not aligned with you and the boundaries that you've set up. So absolutely, you have permission to reset that boundary and, of course, reward the effort that the animal puts in or the follower puts in. I had a couple of things I wanted to do tonight specifically. One of them is show you this book. If you haven't read it, this lovely lady right here wrote this book called Dreams with Horses. It's in. Can you hold this for a minute?
I can. I can hold it for a minute.
Dreams with Horses is a very, very special book, and I want you to buy it if you haven't bought it. And if you've already bought it, buy another copy and give it to somebody special, because there are 2 things that people need in this world. One of them is motivation. We need motivation. We need somebody to build a fire under us and push us. And the Voice of Power can do that. But we also need inspiration. Inspiration is that heartfelt connection to something really powerful. And we want you to be able to experience that. And Rachel's book, Dreams with Horses, can inspire you in a way that you deserve. I mean, you need to feel alive again. You need to feel like there's some really special things that you are capable of doing. And so go to
dreamswithhorses.com, Amazon.
You'll find it there. dreamswithhorses.com on her website. You can find it there. You can find it on product pages on our own websites. But run after it. Go get that book ASAP. Now, thank you for liking it. Those of you who've owned the book already, you've read it before. It's incredibly inspirational. Thank you, Patty, again for your comments. And Jennifer. The other thing I want to do is tell you a quick story so that you understand the Voice of Power in a little bit more detail. Some of you may remember, just so we're very, very clear, in a few minutes I'm going to give this away. I'm going to give away a free trial of Voice of Power. Some of you remember an athlete in the 90s. Her name was Christy Yamaguchi, a very beautiful figure skater, one of the most memorable figure skaters of all time. She went through a pretty rough patch, though. There was a time in her career in early 1991 where she was given up. She was done. She was done skating. Can you imagine Christy Yamaguchi being done skating, being burned out, being ready to quit? Well, that was the state she was in. She had gotten second place 3 times in a row, and for an Olympic athlete, for a performer like this, second place for an Olympic athlete is not like getting almost first place. Getting second place is the opposite of first place for an Olympic athlete. It's losing. So in her mind, she's just lost 3 times in a row. It's not worth it to her anymore. For a lot of us, that's like, come on, you got silver medal. I mean, that's awesome. Not for these kind of athletes. They need first. There's nothing better. So she's done. She's cooked. And she meets another famous Olympic athlete. Some of you remember his name is, what's his name? Kurt Browning. Who she trained with quite often. And Kurt pulls her to the side and says, Christy, what are you doing? You look horrible out there on the ice. In practice, her performances, she's doing fine. But she says, it's horrible to watch you practice. It's not even fun to watch. You look like you're having a horrible time. And Christy says to Kurt Browning, she's like, I know. I don't know if I even want to continue skating. And they have a really in-depth, very personal conversation. And ultimately, Christy realizes that skating is a part of her life, and that she can learn to make skating very, very fun if she takes the focus off the crowd and the applause and what people do for her, and she remembers what skating's about, and it's about the feeling she gets inside. So she commits herself at this point to loving skating again, just for the sheer enjoyment of skating, not for anybody else's accolades. And she goes on that year to win the 1991 World Championships. And the next year, she wins the U.S. National Championships and a gold medal. And all of this because of one conversation, one singular conversation with somebody who really cared, her mentor, her friend, Kurt Browning. So this is what the Voice of Power program is. This is what we're going to offer you, is that one conversation that you can carry with you in your pocket for the rest of your life that will help you stay committed to something special, committed to your goals, committed to your dreams, committed to remembering why it's so important that you do what you do. We've had a lot of really good feedback from the Voice of Power so far. So without further ado, we're gonna give away a free trial of it. And what that means is we're going to produce a message for you that you can take with you. We're going to send it to you every day for about 7 days in a row so that there's repetition involved and you can experience this for yourself and hopefully share your feedback with us and help us grow and share this business and this opportunity with other people. So how are we going to do this? The same way we did last week?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I want you to memorize a phrase. The phrase is send me life. Send me life. When you hear that phrase, next time I say it, you're going to write it down. And the 5th person to write down the phrase send me life. No, we're going to say the 3rd person to write down the phrase.
And it doesn't have to be for you. It can be for a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it can be something you want to give away to somebody.
Yeah, you want to give this away to somebody you love, we're gonna do it for you. We're gonna send you a form. Okay, so here we go. Send me life. Say the words. Write them down in the comments, and the 3rd person to say those words gets a free trial of Voice of Power. And then we will see you again next week. So we'll just patiently wait for our comments to start popping up. If you can hear us, the words are send me life. Okay, thank you very much. Jennifer, thank you very much.
1, 2.
One
Patty
more.
Woodyard.
Patty Woodyard, the winner tonight. Jennifer, thank you. Patty, you get a free trial.
Woohoo!
Now, you can use this yourself. You can share it with somebody who you know desperately needs it. And we'll give you all those details. We'll get on Facebook here in a few minutes and start a private message chat with you, and we'll make sure this is all sorted out. In the meantime, get back online, buy this book, Dreams with Horses. You'll love it. Share it with somebody else you love, and practice those 4 Bs. And we'll be in touch with you next Tuesday, same time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.